Thank you, Adrian, and my pleasure. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. As Adrian mentioned, we appreciate you attending. We appreciate you being flexible with our reschedule. All that being said, we want to make this a valuable webinar for you today. I know we likely have a lot of different roles and personas and types of industries and companies here, so we're just going to try to keep it valuable for everybody. With that being said, we're ready to get started, and the topic of today's webinar is how to speed field service cash flow for Sage 100 and a couple of additional benefits. So the name of the game when it comes to integrating your Sage 100 system with a software product like Service Pro, first and foremost is we want to get paid quicker. We want to see that immediate return, and so we're going to touch on that and some other kind of those fringe benefits today. Before we get started, just a little bit about MSI, which is my company. Again, this is Adam Bartos. I work in marketing at MSI, and our product is Service Pro. Our company is focused on field service management, and our expertise is literally only that. So we work with companies with a field presence, whether that be heavy equipment, whether that be installations, repairs, deliveries, and that is our expertise. So something like Sage in the ERP market, in the accounting space, obviously has a really incredible expertise on some of that, how to run the foundation of your business. And we take our focus towards that field organization aspect. And so that's what our product is. It's Service Pro. And the Service Pro application is back office and in the field. And it's designed to enable those field technicians, enable those service employees to do their job better, get better information in the field, and get the information that they need back to the office quicker. So we have a deep expertise in service, and we are service only. Our company is north of 60 employees now, and about half that is strictly on product development, software engineers, and so we're always improving our product to make it relevant to all of our different industries that we serve. And in addition, keeping up with industry trends. So you read things in service space like Internet of Things and connected machines, and so we're right on the cutting edge of all of those value adds. I mentioned just on that last slide our industries and our customers, and that's very diverse. So when I talk about field service, I know there's probably a lot in attendance today that applies to, but you can see there's so many different vertical markets and many not even listed here. Things like distribution. So you have an actual thing, an item, or a piece of equipment that you're distributing to an end user. You need to deliver, install. Manufacturing space. So you look at a heavy equipment company like Komatsu or Caterpillar, and they're manufacturing machines that then become distributed to end users, but they have a lot of service components, contract components. Something as simple as cable and telecom, medical equipment. There's still a lot of remote work, highly technical, highly service-oriented industries where there's a lot of information being acquired in the field that companies need to see in their back office. And then HVAC and construction are, along with electrical, are good examples of kind of the one we're all familiar with. So my building environment is getting hot. My HVAC is broken. It's getting close to that winter time here in Wisconsin where we're based, and we need our furnaces operational. So, that kind of very common field use case process. And you can see some of the mix of our customers here below. Some recognizable names being Charter and Time Warner in the cable space, Komatsu and Caterpillar in the heavy equipment space. We have things like ABM and MCOR in kind of that HVAC specialty contracting space. And I like to draw attention to Stericycle because that's one of those unique service processes where they actually go to hospitals, a very simple field case, but a very frequent field case, where they go and take the medical waste bins from hospital rooms. So again, any type of field environment, I know it applies to a lot of you in different areas. You just kind of think about how that might apply, who you're sending out for what reason, what they need to fix, and what kind of things you're logging while they're out there. And you can see here, that's what we focus on helping improve. So why are we here today? Why have you attended this call? I know it's to get some information on the integration of Sage, but then there's a focus on field service itself. So we're seeing that firms and companies with field organizations are now investing in those groups. You can see a couple metrics here. 92% of organizations need to adapt their service models in order to keep up with customers' needs. So with the surge of Uber and Lyft and Amazon and some of these kind of best-in-class service organizations, customers have this new expectation of what a good customer experience is. It's instant gratification, it's fantastic communication, and that's made really the service industry a lot tougher. And so firms are recognizing that they need to stay on that cutting edge. In addition, we're seeing that 87% of respondents in some of these surveys that we've done and read is that they're recognizing that it's important that their companies invest in field service technology. So kind of the classic call that we get from customers is, hey, I'm on paper and I need to go electronic. That's a very simple example, but there's a lot of things like I mentioned with IoT and cutting edge technology where, okay, there's a lot of value to be gained, a lot of low-hanging fruit here in the field service space, which is a part of our organization which we were never really invested in technology. You think about the classic technology investments being ERP, maybe some manufacturing technology, accounting systems, HRIS, a lot of which Sage is really fantastic in. We come in now with the service organization where we're seeing a lot more companies recognize the need. So technology for field service, what's the point? This is a new initiative for a lot of you. Some are on systems, some are using things like Excel and other maybe Outlook for dispatch with field workers. But why go all in on field service? And the things we're seeing are as simple as performance management and visibility. So performance being we need to do what we're doing out there better. And that could be by tracking data better so you can make decisions on how to do those things better. So what machines are failing, what equipment's failing, how are our techs performing. But then we're looking at, what are some of the criteria as far as when we're considering new service technology, what should we be looking at? And by far and away, the priorities that we see are, number one, ease of use. So hopefully you'll see that today in our product demo. Employees are not going to take to a new software system if it's difficult and complex. And many of you, I'm sure, have been through that with major ERP rollouts. It needs to go well. It needs to be well thought out. It needs to be good software like Sage 100, so employees will actually use it and not revert back to kind of the old way that things were done. And then second being integration to current systems. So you're running your business, you have your processes in place, it's working for you. You're a successful business on Sage 100, and we need new systems to integrate with the way that we're doing business today. And that's why we, as Service Pro, partner with an organization and a company and a product like Sage 100 because they are best in class at what they do. We know a lot of companies are already doing really great things when it comes to billing, invoicing, with their customer and inventory records. So let's take that. Let's let them continue to run their business there and add this really fantastic service component to that side of the organization. So the topic of today, as we kind of move through the slides and get to the actual meat of the presentation, which is the demo, is these 5 benefits. The thought of, what am I going to see today, on day one of our go live, if we add a service software in conjunction with Sage 100. And here we list a couple of those key benefits. Number one, first and foremost, as we always hear, is getting paid faster. So you have money, you have lots and lots of piles of revenue sitting out there in the field in the form of collections and receivables. We have customers all the time that say, I wasn't getting paid for 5 weeks, 6 weeks. I visit somebody tomorrow, I'm collecting that, as late as December or beyond. And that's a problem because one, you need to recognize and acquire that revenue. But we hear all the time that when you have those kind of billing delays, disputes go way up. I do not remember seeing that technician. I don't remember what they did. It really causes challenges for your back office team when I have a technician going out there today and the actual invoice goes out there 5 weeks later. So that's our number one, day one solution. Let's get you billed same day. Tech utilization. Tech utilization is really a statistic, a metric used in service organizations to define how their techs are performing and how much of their time is spent actually working for customer satisfaction, actually solving customer problems, and for lack of a better way to say it, just turning wrenches. So how much of our tech's time are they actually fixing things versus driving, returning, picking up parts, filling out paper, going to the wrong site, all of these things. We want to get that number way up, that percentage of tech utilization all the way up to 100 if possible, which is not realistic. But the more and the higher you can get that percentage for your technicians, the more time they're actually earning revenue, selling your services and making the customers happy. With that comes field intelligence. So there's a lot of data in the field, and if you're not collecting that, then you can't make decisions upon that data. So what parts are failing? Are customers interested in a service contract? How are your technicians performing when it comes to efficiency? Are we having far too many return trips? And that goes into the next point of boosting first-time fix rate. So we've done research that the average cost of a return trip is upwards of $250. That's gas, that's technician time, that's missed opportunities for other service visits. So if I don't go out to a job site for the right reason with the right parts and fix the issue the first time, then I'm causing problems with our scheduling. We're kind of accumulating work that's now falling behind, and that can really impact in a number of different ways, including customer experience. And that's kind of the last key point is, customers have this new expectation of how service should be delivered, and they want communication. If you're going to be late, they just want to know. And even better, they want to be communicated as to when you're going to arrive, and they want you to deliver on that promise. So making sure that they receive things like alerts with your company logo and all sorts of valuable data for them. The communication of what they have in the field, the history of what you've done, recommendations on how they can better improve their operations because you have all this insight on their equipment or their company. You have this information now because you have a system that can accumulate that data. So hopefully you'll see those things today in this demo. And as we dive into the demo, I just want to give an overview slide of kind of what we do and why we fit here. Service Pro is designed to fit right into Sage 100. And you can see here as an example, Sage 100, as I mentioned, is running your business for things like customers, inventory levels, your billing out of there, invoicing. And so we plug into some of those key areas and populate Service Pro with that information. So your customers, all of those different customer sites, all your types of inventory and inventory levels, which includes warehouses. And we build that into our service software suite. And you can see all the different things that we can do with that, from the back office to taking calls, creating work orders, reporting on that information, to scheduling when it comes to your team of technicians and what they're billed at, making sure they're getting to the right customer and getting some of that additional very efficient detail. And then in the mobile, which is really our bread and butter, an actual mobile app where technicians can use it, log on or offline the work that they're doing, take signatures, present data to their customers right on the device, and get that back to the office really quickly so they're not delivering paper, they're not with handwriting errors, making things like parts difficult to read. All of that we can take with just some key data from Sage, and at the end of the day, when the work is done, we retain that service history, and Sage gets that order detail to get the bill out the door really quickly. So what we're going to show you today, in the interest of time, is just a really nice, quick round-trip work order. We're going to take a call in Service Pro and kind of take you through a normal day in the life of, hey, something's broken, please come fix it. So our goal here is to give you an idea on what you should look for in a service software system, and really why the value of having a system like Sage 100 that talks to a system like Service Pro is going to be important for your business. I want to show you some of those functionalities of a very specialized service software, but something that I always see from an MSI and Service Pro perspective that's interesting is that we have this very robust service platform. And we have a lot of features, and when we have a very focused demo for some of our prospects, there's a lot of things that we can excite them with from a service value add. But at the end of the day, the thing that makes that I can visibly see the relief when I'm presenting is show me how quickly that goes back into Sage. And despite all the bells and whistles that we feel we can offer on Service Pro, when they see that order info coming back into Sage quickly, that is where we see the relief on the service manager's side, on the accountant's side, on the owner's side, who knows they're going to get paid quicker. So we have a lot to offer, but we're also going to show you that plug back into Sage so you can see really how quickly this can work. So now we'll move on to the demo. Encourage you to use those features of GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar for questions or concerns, and we'll save some time at the end for questions. But at this time, I just wanted to start with a screen that I'm sure many of us are familiar with, and that's in my version of Sage 100. And so this is truly what we are using to run our demo business here in this case. And the reason I wanted to start here was just to kind of prove out where we're starting. And I clicked on my sales orders here, and I'm just going to filter by the latest. And I wanted to draw attention to the fact that the last sales order that we did was indeed today, but that was at Shell Oil. And I'm going to go through a new one and show you how quickly this does populate back here. So again, our latest was number 431. So just kind of keep that number in the back of your mind. This is where we're going to end up back in Sage to show you the speed of the integration. But with that being said, everything that we do have in here when it comes to customers, when it comes to items and inventory, miscellaneous service items, everything is being managed here in Sage, and that is populating Service Pro. So without further ado, in my Veritech Sage fake company, let's start a day in the life. So in this case, I'm going to be a colleague in the back office. I'm working in Service Pro. I don't need to be a Sage user. I could be somebody in customer relations, customer service, even kind of order taking and dispatching. But I'm going to get a call from whoever our customer is, and that could be a contact name, that could be a customer name, that could be a piece of equipment. We are performing a global search on that Sage data that we are integrating with. And let's just say somebody from Saratoga Medical is calling in, and in this case, maybe it is Pam Rich. We can select all the information. We're pulling details from Sage like credit alerts, address, site number, which there may be multiple sites, but there may not be. Again, this is coming into Service Pro instantly, and I'm having a conversation with Pam about what the problem is. So at this point, we just want to eliminate that game of telephone between myself and my technician. So having an issue in the office, let's say it's a compressor, needs repair, and unsure of cause. So when it comes to the value of a service system, it's all of this granularity and valuable information that you can add at this step. So that could be things like a photo. And so I could do asset photo. All of these notes, everything that I'm acquiring, if Pam Rich, while I'm on the phone with her, sent me kind of a detail or a photo of the issue, I could do all that. And so that could be a PDF for specifications or parts or anything that you need your technician to access, they can do so. And I've added these things very quickly in the office. Now, while I'm on with Pam, I say, okay, what actually is it that you're having an issue with? Because we have a lot of assets on site. She says maybe it's our compressor, this EnviroAir compressor. So that now becomes kind of the focus of what we're calling. Depending on who's on the phone today and what your businesses are, that could be a swimming pool, that could be an HVAC equipment, that could be construction, that could be plumbing. But what is it that we're going to address? And this gives you some additional detail on history, on contracts. So again, we are tracking all this down to the actual equipment and asset level. So we have some very valuable information in our system now that you can report on and perform decisions on. And if I see that I've been out here pretty recently for this compressor, maybe we offer to sell her a new one, maybe we offer a service contract, there's lots of revenue to be gained there. The point being, very easy to grab this information from Sage, go to the call screen, wasn't able to resolve it this time, so let's create a work order where I can go and add more detailed information. Now, when it comes to how you operate your business, maybe you take a call and maybe you try to resolve those things on the phone call level, but maybe you don't, and maybe you just want to jump to the order screen. And again, when it comes to a field service software, we have a lot more information here that we can log against. So what's the reason? What's the priority? Let's get out there because the system's down. Are we waiting for parts? Or are we waiting to approve a quote? Again, there's a lot of very different service processes out there. We want to fit how you want to run your service business, but there's fields here that you can start to accumulate and report on all this data. If I'm a different employee who's kind of creating the order here, I can see all of those notes that my colleague added for me. Again, kind of eliminating that game of telephone and instant flow of information. And we've created an appointment here. So this is what we're actually going to schedule out our technician for. Maybe I want some more detail here. Maybe you make it a repair visit. Again, these are things that you can just help to make sure that your dispatch team is running efficiently. What's the reason? We want to see it quickly. What's the priority? And how long is it going to take? I can make these adjustments right here. Now, as we scroll down on the work order screen, that's where we're going to start to kind of confuse two terms, the Service Pro work order and the Sage 100 sales order. So notice here right now, there are no order lines here. They're completely empty. I'm going to go in the field and perform work and hopefully fix this item. And when I'm done, that's going to flow back in the field to this work order screen. And this is where the integration is pushing back into the sales order for that instant invoicing. So just kind of make a note here of that, the fact that it's empty, but we're going to log that work from the field in real time. So in just a couple of steps here, I know we're kind of talking through some detail. I took a call from a concerned customer, Pam Rich at Saratoga Medical, which came from Sage 100. Have some of that equipment history, but we're sending out a tech to fix the issue that she's having. And again, I added some key notes for our technician at this point as well. But at this point, we are ready to go. We have kind of our work order and some of the key detail queued up. So I'm going to hop to my schedule board. And the schedule board is where your dispatch team is really going to assign that work. And our goal from a service scheduling perspective is to make this very, very easy on them. You can see kind of a very simple Gantt chart style layout. These labels can be adjusted. So do we want to, highlight the appointment name or just the number? Certainly things that you can decide based on what's preferred. But very high level here, on the left side, I have my resources. And so that could be something like a piece of equipment, a man lift. That could be my technicians. That could be service bays or trucks. It's really our resources that need to be scheduled for work. And we have what their availability is here on the center. So you can see we have Adam, that's me, I'll be the technician today. My icon is green because I've been recently playing on my mobile device. You have live input. And these statuses which your technician can report from the field. So where are they? Are they on site? Did they finish early? All these things are very valuable from an instant visibility standpoint. The schedule board is designed to be flexible. So if I want to see, maybe longer out, if I want to see kind of my week or upcoming weeks of work, if I want to click on Adam and see what his day today looks like or his month, you can see he's pretty free. Maybe he's going on vacation. At any rate, you can kind of see those different views so you know who to schedule where. But it's also valuable to know, kind of who your resources are and who's available and who's right for the job. When we talk about fixing those first-time visit rates, not returning for a second trip, we want to make sure that we're sending somebody who has electrical expertise out for an electrical visit. So if I select electrical, it looks like we only have one person on staff that's available there. Want to make sure that they get that appointment if that's the case. Again, so these filters by type, if that's by equipment or technician, if that's by team, meaning north or south regions. Again, these are things that if you have different scheduling teams or if you just have one scheduler, they need to see this information and they need to see it quickly. If I was on the phone with Pam Rich just 5 minutes ago, I can't spend a whole lot of time deciding, who's right. I want to make sure somebody's out there quickly. And that's how we can help do that. But for the purposes of today, I have a pretty open day for my team here. And I'll go and click on the Saratoga Medical Repair Visit in my unscheduled bin. And you can see our GPS map on the bottom right does snap right to that area. Here we are in kind of the Milwaukee area. I can see if I wanted to see just my equipment, I can see that. If I wanted to see my service technicians in the area, I can see that as well. And so here, if I zoom in, you can see there I am here at the MSI corporate headquarters. And looks like I'm close enough in the area. I have an open day, and I've been active on my device pretty recently. Looks like I'm the winner here. So I'm going to go ahead and go out to Saratoga. So at that point, once you've made the decision on who's the right person for the job, it is as simple as a drag and a drop. We really want to make it quick and easy. And in this case, it could be some really nice value adds as far as customer communication. So now that that appointment has been scheduled, that could initiate an alert that says your technician will be there at 2 p.m. His name is Adam Bartos, and here's a photo of him, and along with his contact information and maybe your company logo. We have a lot of customers who use things like this, triggers, to really automate and make valuable customer communication outreach for just very standard behavior steps. Something's been rescheduled, something has been delayed. Statuses have changed, and those can initiate really very nice automatic triggers for your field team. So now that we've scheduled that work, Adam will have it on his device, and we're ready to go to mobile. When I say mobile, that does mean truly mobile, and that could be anything from a tablet to a phone, Android, iOS, Windows. And it's a true mobile app that you download from the Play Store or from the iOS App Store. Again, we are device agnostic. We know that employees and especially field techs have things that they are comfortable with. And we want to make sure that, if they are in a position where they're presenting an iPad to their customer, a lot of space to sign and do things and view information. But other technicians are climbing on roofs and getting down in sewers. And so a nice, small, accessible phone can be very valuable for them. So with this, I'm just going to show you an iPad today in the interest of space and visibility. And here I am now changing hats. I'm a technician, still Adam Bartos, but now I'm in the field. And you can see my appointments here. So this is what you saw on my schedule board. I have my latest Saratoga medical repair visit. That's what we just worked through today. And I have something for tomorrow. However you decide you want to manage your technician schedules. If I kind of get to choose my own schedule based on preventative maintenance visits, I can do that. If you want to limit them to just what they see today, you can do that. Again, how is it that you can get your technician the information they need and make sure that they can get to where they need to go quickly? So it's pretty clear to me as Adam, the technician, that today I need to go to Saratoga. And so a lot of you might treat this as like a trip ticket, an order ticket, but this is just the work order that we created. And I can see everything that I need to right at that first level. So all this overview information, what's the address, what's the reason, expected duration, all those fields that we showed you kind of in that back office service system. Here's everything that I can see here. So I might go through and start my day just to kind of see the reason. Why am I going out here? Okay, this is an urgent repair. Now let's go actually see the notes as I look at my icons, easy to access on the bottom of my iPad. I can go here and see what my back office had queued up for me. So comments, looks like we have a compressor issue. Sounds good. What does this thing look like? I can see the actual compressor photo here. Okay, that's helpful. I know what I'm looking for. All these things, they prep me to go have that initial conversation with the customer and make sure that I can do the right work on the right piece of equipment. All this is accessible offline because that I synced my device and because I actually received this on my iPad. I could do what we're about to show you completely offline if I'm in a basement or a high-rise or a farm field. All this is accessible offline. When I get connection, just like your email, anything that I do will be sent back to the office for that invoicing or approval step. Now again, just to kind of illustrate the fact that we are putting everything in your technician's hands, if need be, I can access contacts and give Pam a call. I'm not looking through paper to find her number. All this can be done right from the device. In addition to order history. So as a technician, I can see what we did last time we were here. So in September, I was out here. Looks like my colleague John just had a service visit, nothing really specific, no concerns there. I can go even further back if I need. Okay, looks like we were here for the compressor, sent the whole team out. And so that's just kind of gives me some perspective on why we've been here in the past. Now, the name of the game, as we mentioned earlier in the presentation, is to make this very easy for your technicians. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and dive into the actual repair. And so anything that I log, I can actually do so against that equipment. So if I log parts, I'm going to the parts tab on the bottom, just going to click that plus icon, and we can make it easy for your technicians by filters. So what type of part is it? Is it a non-stocked item? Is it a spare part? We can do it through barcode scanning. So if I click on the barcode icon in the upper left, we can bring up an actual barcode scan that does QR or barcode scan. So grab something right off the truck, or I can just search. And now when we talk about the Sage integration, we're actually pulling things from the correct inventory warehouse. So you can see that I have two inventory warehouses set up to view here. And those are two actual inventory warehouses in Sage. So I'll pull mine off of my truck. Let's use two of them. I'm going to search for one more piece. And let's just do a motor. And I'll grab it off my truck. And again, some companies want to make sure they only see their trucks. Some want to have their technicians see other things. That is completely up to you. We want to manage it however is useful for you and however is easy for your technicians. So I don't need to handwrite anything. I don't need to spell any part numbers or get anything mixed or wrong. I've now added those parts. And I'll add just a task. So when we say tasks, we're talking miscellaneous items in Service Pro. Maybe that's just a standard trip charge. So again, as I kind of talk through the mobile app, we want to increase that tech utilization. We want to make sure that I'm spending my time fixing the equipment, turning those wrenches, and I'm just flying through the app, making sure that we're tracking what we did so my back office team can bill and see that. Really quite easy to manage. So I've added a trip charge. I've added a couple pieces of inventory. And if I want to, I can manage my time in a couple different ways. That could be through a punch clock. And so again, we're just going to add something really quickly, start my timer. And as that timer logs up, I can add a team of technicians here. So if I want to say that I came out here with, let's say, my colleague, Chris. Now, Chris and I have a punch clock that's started for us, and we're logging our time, and we have a certain dollar amount associated to each of us in the Sage 100, which makes it very easy to log and very easy to manage. So just in the interest of time, if I do stop that punch clock, I can make some adjustments here. Maybe I was here for an hour. That's fine. But again, we've done in a very quick manner of time, added an hour of our technician time, added some quick inventory off the truck, and we've also added a kind of our standard trip charge. So this is all very easy to do, very easy to log, and this flies back to the office quickly, which you'll see in a moment. But there's also the interest of just going fully paperless, increasing that customer experience. You're working with a high-tech service company that's not fumbling through triplicate paper. And that's why we have our inspections capability, which you can build your own forms. I'll add an inspection form here. And so if we have just kind of, let's just say the general notes form. This could be anything. This could be photos. This could be signatures, check boxes. It's truly just a mobile form. And there can be things like required fields. So what's the status? Active, description, fixed, asset. Worked on one unit. Now again, not going to make too many detailed recommendations here. Just want to illustrate the fact that you can have a lot of different types of fields. You can create those yourself. And again, this is a true paper replacement for your technicians, all of which I can access offline. So here maybe I'll say consider service contract. If we had a checkbox that said, are they interested in a service contract? We can alert your sales team upon completion of this visit. I'll add notes to the form. Here I can go to my camera roll. It could be anything. I don't have really a terribly relevant photo here, but I'll add it. Looks like I worked on completely the wrong thing. And I can mark that up if I'd like. So lots of different ways that we can kind of manage these photos, make sure you get the information that you need. I'll do a quick signature here to verify completion, and we're going to be on our way. So again, just to illustrate, there's a lot of different types of fields that you can use. This could be a customer-facing form. Maybe I could walk through kind of a verification step with the form. We'll present them with kind of the order summary. However, again, want to make it a very good experience for your customers and a very easy, quick experience for your technicians. And so here in the order summary screen, you can see everything we did. And so if that includes some pricing, that's great. You can see all the inventory we added. There's our tasks. And maybe we'll collect our customer signature here. And if you remember, that was Pam Rich. And so this is more or less a proof of service for Pam. If we don't have her email on file, we can send her a copy right here, but we do have it on file. And so again, there's going to be a chance to eliminate billing disputes here. She signed, everything is working. She knows what we verified and what we did. And that's great. If I need to make changes here, Chris didn't actually join me. Again, very easy to do. And we can be on our way. Hopefully Pam had a great experience. We got her up and running, and we'll show you now how we can invoice essentially the same day. So as a technician, I have all these statuses available to me. You can see if I'm not available or if we need a return trip. Let's just go straight to closed, because I did complete that work. And once I close that work, it's going to pull itself off of my itinerary, and I can go on to the next job, or possibly create a new order from the field if I've been given permission to do so. Again, this can all flow very, very quickly, but I'm done with the site at Saratoga. I fixed it, and I want to get that back to the office for kind of those next steps. So while that flows back to the office, again, just provided I have connectivity, I'm going to bring up my Service Pro instance once again. And again, I could be working entirely offline. If I leave the basement and I get back in my truck and I have cellular connectivity, that's going to now flow back to the office, and all of those line items that I completed are going to show. And I'm just going to initiate a refresh on my schedule board. These are done automatically, but as we always say, time in a demo draws out slowly. Seconds feel like hours. With all that being said, I'm Adam Bartos now. My scheduler can see that I've completed this work. That's why that red status has now changed. If I wanted to see kind of where that was, if it required a return trip, I could do very flexible things on the schedule board, like copy and get somebody out on a new appointment. So again, it's very easy to manage this entire schedule board. There's a new appointment for Chris if he needs to go out there and do some different work. But again, in the interest of time, let's just flow all the way back. And if I click on the select appointment here, I can link right back to my order number. And if you'll remember, this is kind of where we started and added some of those notes, got some of that detail. Just for reference, here's the photo that I added. So here we are back in that order screen. And if you recall, we had an empty screen here for work completed. That is no longer the case. We had the trip charge, an hour of Adam's time, and things like this Russell fan motor. We completed this inspection. Now again, this is instantly accessible. If you wanted to automate an alert so a customer could see a copy of that immediately, that's great. If you just wanted to keep this on record to present to them later, that's also great. Depending on how you want to manage your business, the key thing is that you are now accumulating all this data and we can report on it. So did Adam need to go back for a return trip? Here's an example of that completed inspection report. It can be designed in a way that makes your company look very high-tech, very nice designed. Just a simple example of how these can be completed. So now, for the interest of the speed of the integration, this order is complete. We have this service history now, but we want to bill quickly. And I just finished the field visit in about 5 minutes. But I'm going to bring up my Sage company once again. And so here I'm back in Sage 100. And again, we're moving at real time. We're moving really quickly. If I wanted to invoice our customer in 5 minutes, or even do so in the field, we're going to go back into those sales orders. And I can view my list. And if you remember, it was Shell Oil. That was the latest one. And we have now the latest in Saratoga Medical. If I click that, I can jump into my order lines. And those are all of those fields that we recognized, including those inventory levels. So you are still running your business in Sage. I'm drawing that inventory based on these parts. There's that contactor. I use 2 of them. There's my Russell fan motor. Again, all of these things are set up in Sage, so we are consuming them from the right warehouses. We are billing our technicians based at the right rate. We are assigning these miscellaneous trip charges. And you can see we now have a total amount that if we wanted to, we can go through and print the order, proceed to an invoice. Again, as quickly as you want to move. If you want to do them in batches at the end of the day, if you want to do them instantly as they come in, you get to make that decision. Sage now gets to do what Sage is good at in running your business, invoicing, making it a good customer experience as far as the receivable aspect, but it's important that you're getting paid quickly. And hopefully here you can see the speed in which it does so. So that is a very quick example of a day in the life. That was the goal of the demo. Hopefully you saw how this order flows. Again, we started in Service Pro from a new order. All of the information that we worked on, whether it be customer and site information, inventory and pricing detail, that's all pulling in from Sage. Again, you can just see the overview of the integration here. And very, very quickly, we solved that. Okay, I'm waiting to bill. I don't have the information yet. We're not waiting for our technician to drop off paper. We don't need to correct spelling errors because they're pulling it from EV to view lists that are coming from Sage. These things flow very quickly, and you can truly bill same day or even quicker if you want to do the moment the data comes in. So that was the goal of today, to kind of give you the example of how we solve those issues. I have a couple of contact information lines here. Steve Mott is our sales manager for the Sage market here at MSI, so his information is available. If you have an immediate need or you have some questions, my information is available too if there's things you'd like to follow up or ask after the fact. But before we open up for questions, I just wanted to thank everybody for the time today. I know it's a valuable moment. We're asking a lot of your time to kind of view and sit through a webinar here. Hopefully it's valuable. We really have a valuable relationship with Sage 100 and appreciate the opportunity to speak to you. And hopefully we showed you some things that you didn't know and kind of open your eyes to some ways that we might be able to help.
Thank you so much,
I think we're ready
Adam.
to open it up.
I really appreciate your presentation. That was great. You really know your stuff. I'm going to launch a poll quickly here, if we can. Are you interested in learning more about Service Pro? If you could just take a second to answer this poll, that would be awesome. And let's see. Adam, what is the ballpark range associated with cost?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we bill based on users. So depending on the size of your company, we don't like to have price be the barrier, but we list at around 70 or 80 per user per month. So that's kind of your monthly just subscription cost. And then depending on the complexity of an integration, there's some implementation costs associated with it, depending on how much custom work there is, et cetera.
And are there any return on investment tools that you might have to help gauge the return on investment for your software?
There certainly is. So we have some ROI calculators that we can send out as a follow-up to this webinar. A good way to kind of say, how big is your team? What type of work do you do? So you can kind of gauge that potential ROI on the front end. But we do have a lot of tools after the fact as far as widgets and portals and presenting that data, reporting capabilities to say, okay, where am I getting this return? How have we improved? What have we done better? So in the actual product, there's lots of opportunities to view the data and present reports. But again, I will send out an ROI calculator to the group for those interested in engaging it on the front end.
And I'm going to let this poll stay up for a little bit longer. We're at 67%. So again, just to remind you, we do have a poll up on the screen, and we just appreciate your answer, whatever it may be. And Adam, are you attending any of the Sage-related user groups or trade shows coming up?
I don't believe we are in the very, very short term. We always make a point to attend the Sage Summit, and that's always a really great opportunity for us to interact. I would say very honestly, we're open in attending others. So if there's areas that those in the audience would think would be valuable for us or would like to see us face to face, or if Adrian, you think that we would find value in others, Sage is a huge priority for us, and we'd be up for it.
And I am a partner for Sage 100. Are there certification requirements for implementing your software?
There are not, unless we were talking about a partnership as far as a true reselling relationship, which we do on a limited basis. So if an ERP like VAR partner wanted to resell and install our software, there would be some training requirements that we would expect. Otherwise, we work very closely with VARs to implement together. So VARs can become kind of the Sage experts. We do share best practices, and then we would take the Service Pro side of the implementation. But again, we would kind of manage together based on the requirements of expertise on both sides.
Perfect. And I'm not seeing, I see one question just popped up here. How are techs tracked? Thank you, James.
That's a great question, and it is fairly open-ended. So if there's things that I'm not hitting on here, I would encourage you to follow up and we could talk offline. Techs can be tracked in a number of different ways. At a very high level, techs are using their devices live, and so whenever they perform work, whenever I complete an inspection form, whenever I say that I'm on my way, whenever I arrive on site or change a status, we are GPS stamping and we are time stamping those activities. So if you want to report on kind of the duration of work or accuracy of what they did or where they did it. We are collecting all that data. In the other sense, it's just as simple as those statuses. You can see based on the color codes where I am, what I'm doing, and it's very easy to track your team on a visual standpoint. Or, as I mentioned, if you're trying to look kind of more at a granular level with kind of the time they're spending, where they did what, we can present all that data for you because, again, we are tracking it.
So perfect. I'm not seeing any more questions, and we did finish up a little bit early. Thank you, Adam.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you all for attending. We really appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll see you on our next webinar. Everybody, you just take care. I have recorded this webinar, and I'm going to send the recording out after we're done here, along with all the contact information that Adam just shared and all the details. So thanks again. Everybody take care. Have a great day. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, Adrian, and thank you, everybody.
My pleasure. Take care. Bye-bye.